Howdy folks, this is Rowdy. Welcome to Foothills of Appalachia. In today's video we're going to be working in our watermelon patch. We're going to be cleaning out the weeds around them and working out the middles, and we're going to put fertilizer around them. We hope you enjoy the video. Okay, here we have our watermelon patch. We have 7 hills of watermelons, and down on the end we have 3 hills of cantaloupes. It's not a big watermelon patch, but it's more than I can eat when they go getting ripe. But we'll be giving watermelons away, I guess. But it's been hot and dry here in North Georgia. Things is growing slow, and I've been having to water these about every day along. But they're doing pretty good, but they're needing a little bit of attention, a little bit of fertilizer put around them. They're starting to run, but they all looking good and healthy. Get on down here where the cantaloupes are. They're doing real good too. They got blooms on them. Little small blooms. They just getting started good, but we're going to get them worked out around. If there's any grass in here anywhere, we're going to get it out here. That's the worst thing you can do. You spend all your time working and putting in all this hard work putting in a garden with your vegetables. You want it to look good, but more than that, if you let grass grow up in it, it's going to compete with your plants, and they're going to suffer for it. You got to keep it worked out, and you got to keep the grass out of it if you expect to make anything. We're going to get started working here. Those bags down there on the end are full of leaves. And then when I get these things worked out and laid by, I'm going to mulch everything with leaves. You can see right here, I've got leaves around these tomatoes and pepper plants. Like I said, it's been especially dry. Stayed so wet, just rain. You couldn't get in the garden, you couldn't work, you couldn't get anything put out because it's just too wet. But now we're suffering for rain. We need some rain. It's getting very dry around here, and I'm going to try to mulch everything with leaves and see if that don't help out with the things drying out. Okay, right here's what we're going to be doing today. You see our watermelons are starting to run. The vines are starting to run a little bit. And that one's probably right here, probably a couple feet long. And what we're going to do is gently pick these vines up, and we're going to lay them to the side. Just real gentle like. Be easy with them, they'll break. Sorry about this shadow there. I'm going to have to move her in. But we're going to take them vines and we're just going to gently pick them up. Just move them to the side. Look it right there. See how I got it pulled to one side? We're going to go down through here. We're going to loosen the soil up and work it out. Any grass coming up. Not much grass out here right now, but here's a little spread of grass right here. We're going to pull him up and get rid of him. Can't just chop it up and leave it laying there. That crabgrass will root right back. Just like that, very gently move them to one side, but we'll go down through here and we'll work around them. If there's any grass in here, we'll get it out, and then we'll put fertilizer around them and mix it in, and I'll very gently lay them right back where they was at. And I'll come to this side and I'll pick them up and move them over that way. Do the same thing down this side, all the way down through there, and keep the middles worked out. Let that grass get in here and start getting a hold, it'll take over. And it hurts your plants. They become in direct competition with the grass, and your watermelons or anything in the garden, if it's competing with grass and weeds, it's a suffering. And it'll not do as near as good as it would if you'd got out here and worked a little bit and got the grass out. But that's what we're going to be doing. You can see them right there, how I got them laid to one side. But I thought I might need a little bit of explanation as to what I was doing. I know a lot of these big commercial growers, they lay down landscaping fabric and make holes in it and put their plants out in a row, and so the weeds won't grow up around them. But we don't have that kind of a budget around here. We just have to do things the old-fashioned way. Just get out here and get it done. But we wanted to give you a small example of how we go about it. And this is the old-time way of gardening. Just get out here and get it done. We'd like to mention these watermelon vines are just about 2 feet long. They're very small, and they don't have any little watermelons on them yet. And you can pick them up and move them to the side like I did there. If you be real gentle, don't break them. And then lay them back, and you want to put fertilizer around them right now and lay them back, and just a few more days they'll start growing longer and start blooming and putting on little small watermelons. And when they get to that point, you can't move them. If you try to pick them up and move them, if they have little small watermelons on them, you'll knock them off. I've tried it before, and when I do it, I know better than doing it, and I knock one off, I can just say, oh me, I know better. here's what we're going to be using to fertilize our cantaloupes and watermelons. Just a general all-purpose fertilizer. Used on trees, shrubs, flowers, and vegetable gardens. 10, 10, 10. It's just a average fertilizer. I do use 13, 13, 13 on occasion. You just have to use less of it. You have to be more careful with it. You'll burn your plants up. But back 2 or 3 years ago, when fertilizer got hard to find, hard to buy, I bought several bags and just got it put up, and right now this is what I got open, and I'm going to use it while it's open. If you let it sit, it just gets wet and mushy and it absorbs moisture. What you want to do, get you a good handful, just come in here and just lightly sprinkle it around your hill, around your mound. You don't have to put a whole lot, just about half a handful down that side right there. When I do the other side, I'll do the same thing. It's about all I can hold in my palm of my hand, like that right there. Just lightly sprinkle it on the ground, like it right there. Then I'll take my mattock and I'll mix it in real good. Mix it down in the soil, and when it rains on it, it'll soak on down in the ground. These cantaloupes will be happy. Make some happy watermelons. Make me happy. But I'll put fertilizer around them and work it in, and I'll move these vines around. I'll put fertilizer all the way around this thing. Mix it all in real good, and then we'll gently lay our vines right back out where they were at. I know you might be saying to yourself, well, that's a lot of work. But if you expect to have anything, that's what it's going to take. You let the grass grow up in it, and you can expect plenty watermelons. But then it all boils right down to the weather too. You have to have rain. They need lots of rain to grow and have good healthy watermelons. And right before they go to getting ripe, they could use just a little bit of dry weather. That'll make them sweet, make them a whole lot sweeter. I have tried to grow them in the past, and it would rain, just keep on raining. Watermelons would get so big and rain so much they'll just split. Tomatoes will do the same thing, and when they're trying to get ripe, if they get a real hard rain, they'll just split. They try to grow and absorb out all the water that they can. Okay, so there you go. Got my watermelons worked around, got them fertilized, got them laid back out where I want them to be. And they kind of flip-flop around a little bit, but they'll root back to the ground. They'll straighten right up. They have these little tendrils right here that grow out from them, and they'll fasten themselves to the ground. Fasten itself right back to the ground like that right there, and keep the leaves upright towards the sun. That's how you go about your watermelons, working them out. This is the old time way of doing it. It's a lot of hard work, but if it rains and the weather cooperates, they'll do good, they'll grow, and they'll produce a lot of watermelons and cantaloupes. Like I say, this is the old time way. This is how my grandfather taught me how to grow watermelons, and I got a lot of faith in the way he taught me how to do things. You may think, well, you don't know how to grow anything, but I can tell you right now that man could grow some watermelons. If he was alive right now, he'd be 102 years old. And I tell you, back in the 80s, he had bees, and he grew watermelons, and he saved enough money from selling honey and selling watermelons. That man built a house. Now, he could grow some watermelons, big, pretty watermelons. Anybody would be proud to get a hold of one of his watermelons. But I like the old time ways. It's a dying art, a dying thing of the past. The young generation coming on, some of them's got interest in gardening and the old path, the old ways, and some of them don't. But I want to share the old ways and share my knowledge and pass it down to the younger generation coming on. Anybody that wants to learn the old way, I want to present it to them. Now, I got to thinking about the garden and the weeds growing up in the garden. If you let your garden grow up in weeds, the weeds are just going to take away from your garden plants. They'll not be fruitful. They'll produce a little bitty crop like the watermelons or anything like that. You let weeds grow up around it, and it's going to take away from the plant, and you might have a little bit of fruit and little knotty tomatoes that's no size, but if you'll keep them weeds pulled out of there and get them out of the way where they won't be competing with your garden, then your garden will be bountiful. You'll have plenty of fruit and vegetables. They'll be big and they'll be pretty. And I got to thinking, just like things in our life, you know, if we got things in our life that's growed up and surrounded us and competing with what's on the inside, you know, it's just going to bring us down. Our life won't be fruitful. There'll be a turmoil, trouble on every hand. We'll not be bearing good fruit. And the best way to keep your life fruitful and bearing good fruit is just to serve the Lord. Give God glory for all things. And just all these troubles and trials, they're just for a little while here on this life anyways. And if we'll just turn them over to the Lord, He'll pull them up by the roots, and He'll get these troubles out of our way, and then our life can flourish and we can be fruitful. We hope you enjoyed this video today, and we appreciate each and every one that watched. We appreciate our subscribers. If you haven't subscribed and you've watched all the way to the end, we appreciate it, and we'd ask you to consider subscribing to our video. And we hope you have a blessed day, and thank you for watching.